Hey Cam fam, welcome back and welcome to Keeping Up with Cam. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning into our channel. If you're a returning subby, thank you so much for coming back. So today we have our toddler boy hairstyle video number 71. Alright, these are the products that we will be using in this video. We are working with freshly washed hair, as you can see. We actually did do this wash day doing a deep condition. We let him sit underneath the heated cap, let everything work itself in. If you would like to see an updated wash day routine, please let me know in the comments and I'll make a video for you guys. So I am using my Chi Infra Silk Infusions heat protectant. That is because we will be doing this style on blow dried hair. It's just a lot easier to braid his hair when it's blow dried, even though I don't like adding heat to his hair, just because he has that like 3C in the front and more of a 4A in the back. So to do that, we need to make sure that the hair is protected. So as you can see here, I am using a low heat, low distribution setting, a low blow dry setting. But if you don't have those two options, just do the lowest setting that you do have. I have my comb attachment on my Tresemme blow dryer. I did get this blow dryer at Walmart, and I'll link everything in the description for you guys. So I am starting at the ends, working my way through the middle to the roots. It is sped up, so it's looking a little fast and a little like, whoa, what are you doing? But I am taking my time. Make sure when you start out, you want to hold the root section a little bit tighter. That way you can get a good grip on the ends and you're not pulling their hair. And you just work your way, take your time, make your way through the middle and to the roots. You want to make sure that the roots are done properly, because if not, the style will not look good. But you also don't want to over process their hair. That's why you want to make sure you're at the lowest setting that you can be. That way you have enough time and ability to work through the hair without making the hair really dry. So here you can see what we're working with. This is his hair fully blow dried. It's a lot. So I'm going in with my Camille Rose Kids Brown Butter Melt. This is a Mandarin hair oil balm. I'm working just a little bit through my hands, and I'm going in and I'm getting the roots, the ends, the tips, all of it. I'm just working it through the middle, the outside, everything, because in a protective style, we want to make sure that we are protecting their hair. We're putting the style together with the hair moisturized, with the hair conditioned. That way, while it's in that protective style, it's actually being a protective style. It's being protected and it's helping their hair grow and retain length. I'm also going to be using our Camille Rose Honey Hydrate leave-in. I put that in as well. I usually only use this when it's a braided or a twisted style. I don't like to leave this on the hair if it's out, just like out. I find it's way too much stickiness, too much buildup on. It's just too thick on the hair. So once we have all of the product in, I am going and I'm looking at him from the front because I want to part it straight. Keep in mind he does have moving scalp, so even though I got this as straight and as centered as I could possibly do it, once it was braided, I was like, yeah, this is not what I parted, but that's just the way it goes. Also with me, it's a little bit harder because I am filming, so I want to make sure that I'm not, in the way and I'm getting the right angle. So sometimes it does, go a little off kilter, but that's all right. So once I get it parted from the front and I'm sure that it's where lined up that I need it to be, I then get back to the back of the hair and I'm just making the parts for the two sections continuing down so that we have this middle part that is equal. So now I'm going in with my Shine and Jam. This is the orange container. I usually do the yellow. This is the orange. I will say this is the first and last. It is good if you're doing like a ponytail. Like I find that it worked really nice, but for braiding, I found it wasn't as I don't know. It didn't work as well for me to braid his hair, and it didn't like blend into the hair as nicely as the yellow one does. So I prefer the yellow for braiding, but the orange, if you're going to be doing ponytails, works really well. All right, time for our Kuza 100% Indian hemp hair and scalp treatment, my favorite go-to grease. This is just to ensure that the scalp is not dry. If the scalp is dry, the style will not help, it will not be protective, and will not do what we need it to do. So make sure you're using any grease you like, but make sure you're using some kind. So now we're going in and we're going to break that middle section into 3. As you can see here, I'm going in. I'm not really doing it any certain length or whatever. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, whatever you want to do. This is going to be a mohawk braid. Kamari really loves that, so we're going with that style. I think it's more of a mullet, to be honest, but he likes to call it a mohawk, so we go for that. So once we get through making it into 3 sections, we're going to work with the front section. We're actually going to do this as like a crossover braid, an X braid, whatever you'd like to call it. So we're going to break that first row into 4. So we're going to split it in the middle, make it 2 halves, top and bottom, and then we're going to split that top and bottom halves into 2. As you can see, we have these 4 pieces here, and we're going to end up crossing them over onto each other, left to right, left to right. So I also have 2 pieces on the side, single braids. They're going to be smaller. You'll see how I work those in a moment. So now I'm going to be using the left side first, and we're going to use the left top piece, and we're going to braid it into the bottom right piece. Then I'm going to braid the top right piece, and I'm going to braid it into the bottom left piece. You can do whichever way that you want, whichever feels more comfortable. Just know that the second braid that you do, that's going to be the braid that is laying on the top. That's going to be the direction that is on the top. Either way works. There's really no like perfect way. I just decided to start on the left side and go to the right. Make sure you're adding your gel as you go. You want to make sure that this style lasts as long as possible. It looks as neat as possible, especially on the first day. Nobody wants to do a style and look at it and be like, oh, this looks stale already. That's a waste of a day. So I'm going back in now. I'm doing the second braid, and like I said, this one is going to be from the right to the left, and it's going to be going over top. You're just going to cross this over the first braid, and it's going to look like a little bit of an X. All right, so we are working with the 2 pieces on the side. As you can see, they're literally just regular braids, 2 small braids going back, 1 on each side. Thinner, on the thinner side of braids. They're not really that thick. They're kind of just like the same as the ones that we did with the X, and you just braid those back normal, nothing to it. I do want to say thank you guys so much for bearing with us. It has been a little bit of time since our last video. We've been going through sickness like we change clothes. Okay, it has been ridiculous. You will still see in this video that Cam is coughing. He's still sick as we speak, but he's getting better, so we're working through it. We've had croup, we've had everything you could possibly think of, but we're pushing through, and we're so happy that you guys are still tuning in and still loving and still commenting on our videos, and we're going to be pushing these out for you. All right, so we worked a little bit backwards. We started at the front, now we're going to the very back, and then we'll do the middle. But once you get to the back, you're just going to split that into 2. We're just going to be braiding these down straight. In the previous mohawk that we did singles in the back. I was like, let me switch it up. Let me make it a little bit quicker of a style for me as well. So we're just splitting these into 2 braids, and you're literally just going to braid them back. 2 braids in each. So 2 in the back and 2 in the middle. Easy peasy. If you'd like, you can add things to it, like you can add beads or elastics or anything like that. But when I straighten his hair, I don't add the elastics. And also I think he's kind of in need of a trim. And I've been putting it off because I don't want to do it myself. And I'm just trying to find the right salon to take him to. So he could use a trim, and when we use a trim and we when we blow dry, sorry, he would probably need elastics. But for now, we're going to work with what we've got. I'm trying to steer away from getting scissor happy because I know I love to cut my own hair like twice a year, drastically cut my hair, and I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna do that to Cam. But I have been getting asked quite a few times if he's trimmed his hair yet, and he hasn't. I do have a friend who does hair, and she says that because he's so young, his hair is still virgin hair and nothing really traumatic has happened to it. I rarely use heat in it. His hair should be fine. But he, you know, he's 5.5, he's turning 6. We've never cut his hair up to now. I do have a video on TikTok that I'll link here that shows how I've dusted his ends before, but I do want to like actually do a professional trim and just kind of get his hair a little more healthy. So when we do that, I will let you guys know. If I go to the salon, I will try and do a little bit of a vlog with it so you guys can see the experience, but for now we're just pushing through like this. Like I said, I've done this style before with the middle section being singles, and I actually really did like it. If you haven't seen that, I'll link that video here. But if you prefer for this style, you can also do the singles instead of doing the braids that I'm doing, the straight back braids that I'm doing. I do find that when you do singles, it's also cute when you want to like put it up, and it gives it another dimension to the style. It works the same with these straight backs as well, but if you prefer the singles and you want to give that a try, you can definitely add that in to your version of this style. All right, so we're going to start in the front section soon, but I just want to let you guys know I was really fighting with my camera this whole video for space to record this video. So there are some pieces that just go from like one point of the video to another, but I will explain everything thoroughly for you guys. Don't worry. So I'm going in now, and I'm just sectioning off from the middle to the ear, and we're going to work with the front section there. So once we have that sectioned, I'm going in and I'm breaking that up into a V shape. Two V shapes actually, a V inside of a V. You're just going to make sure that everything is neat. You're going to make sure you put your gel in, and then you're going to section off that middle one, the smaller V, and make sure that you put it away nicely so that when you're braiding the outer V, it's not giving you any issues. So I go ahead and I put my Shine and Jam on the perimeter. I again like to recommend putting a little bit of your favorite gel on the perimeter, your favorite oil on the perimeter before you put your gel on, just to help protect the perimeter of their hair as we braid, and then make sure you work it through. Like I said, I don't like how the orange Shine and Jam worked through the hair. I 100% prefer the yellow, but to each his own. And then you're just going to keep going. You're just going to braid that down. Once you braid it down to the middle part, to the end of that V where it catches at the bottom, you're then going to turn yourself around and you're going to braid it upwards into the middle of your hair. Again, making sure that you're keeping the part very neat and that you are not catching any stray hairs, any flyaways, to make the style look wonky. So just keep in mind, take your time when you guys are doing these braids, because sometimes when you're changing from one direction to another, it's a little bit hard to get all the hair into the braid at once, and making sure that it doesn't look like a zigzag kind of, making sure that the braid actually stays centered and still looks neat. So if you need to take it out and redo it, go ahead, do that, but you guys will get it and you'll have no issues. After you do the outer one, you're going to work with the inner one. And once the outer one's done, the inner one is so much easier because you don't have any space to really move around. You have that one section of the hair to braid, and it just works out so perfectly. So once you finish braiding it, you're going to have the ends, and they're going to be towards the middle of the hair. And that's what's going to give it that mohawk, that mullet type of feel. As we continue to keep braiding, we're going to be braiding everything into the middle. All right, so we're getting to the point soon where the storage is starting to just fill up on me, so I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can, making sure you guys get an understanding of everything. So we're going in now, and we're going to make 5 horizontal parts. We're going to go from the ear into the middle. It's going to be 5 of them, and then the 6th one, the one right at the top, is actually going to be another V. It's going to be going into the middle, but it's going to be going from a different direction than we did the first 2 in the front. So make sure you're doing everything straight across, and then you have that last straight across, as you can see here, but I'm splitting that in the middle on a slight angle so that it can still go into the middle and it can still all blend together. All right, so I split it in the middle and I put a little bit of Shine and Jam in the middle, and then I'm putting it on the outside of both parts because we're going to be braiding again 2 sections together and we want everything to just flow smoothly. So I go back in one more time with my tail comb, make sure that everything is parted neatly, and we're going to start this V from the middle and we're going to bring it around. Maybe it's more like a circle, maybe more like a C. But we're starting it from the middle and we're bringing it back around to the middle for it to hang down in the same direction as the rest of the braids. Again, take your time when you are bringing the braid around. Bring your body in the direction that you need to be in for the braid to work, and you're going to just make sure that the braid is centered and it's not to one side, and you're catching all the hair and braiding it down properly. So this is why it's great that when I braid, I'm braiding with symmetry so that you guys can get the gist of what I'm doing without having to see me do the whole thing, right? So we're going in, we're putting the Shine and Jam on the section, making sure that we go through with the tail comb again to make sure that it's straight. We're then going to put the Shine and Jam on the hair on each side of that part, and then we're going to go through, we're going to section off the top, and we're just going to braid it like normal. Braid it straight in, make sure that the braid is staying in the center of your part so that this braid is straight, and then you're just going to braid it into the middle of the hair. You're going to braid the ends down and you're just going to leave it. You can add again, you can add elastics, you can add beads, you can add whatever, or you can just let it hang loose like we're doing. It's going to be the exact same thing that we're going to do for all 5 of these braids. My phone did not want to let me be great, so it's gonna cut off, but you literally just keep doing that all the way down for this side, and then you're gonna repeat these exact same steps on your left side. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for, the final result. Look how cute this style ended up being. My phone wanted to cooperate with me towards the end, so here we are with our money shots. This is what it looked like right after I finished braiding it. We have all the hair coming back. You can put it up in a pony, you can do whatever you like. This is the next day. As you can see, it still looks great. This is what our style ended up being at the end of it. We had 5 braids going in plus 1 inward V. Then we have the 2 V's on the top. We have a middle X and 2 braids beside it. That's a lot going on, but it worked out really great. I hope you guys tried it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this style. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this style or any other style or anything in general to do with their hair care or braiding styles, please let me know. You can let us know in the comment section below. You can let us know on our Instagram. You can look at our TikToks. We might have some other videos there that might be interesting and useful to you. Make sure you guys come back for the next one. Share our videos with your family and friends, and we'll see you again. Bye.